Hey guys, we are just going to go live without a guest for now. So Nat's still not logged in, but she should be home soon. There's some kind of crazy traffic jam, so um, we might as well just get started. So how's everyone? Everyone had a safe Fourth, I assume. Nobody blew their hand off, or fingers, or burned down a house, or anything else. No, I see. Hopped out of the car armed with deli cups. Miles is living the dream. Maybe tiny things in there. I don't know if anybody's watching Russ's show while I was in tonight, but he was talking about duckies. And I tried to say that I'm anti ducky, but my big fat idiot thumb hit the send button before I was thinking, before I meant to send it. And oh, Nat's here. Shh, she's here. We don't know if her stuff's working yet, but sorry, Nat, we had to log in without you. So I'm going to finish the story. So I was saying I was anti ducky, and my autocorrect took that, and my big fat idiot thumb hit the button, and I just said on Russ's live feed that I'm anti-dick. And, I mean, that didn't look great. So then, of course, I had to do the all caps, like, I meant anti-ducks. So Nat's here again. It looks like her phone is on the floor again. And we're going to try to share video. Let's bring her in and see. You guys will get to see the tech support stuff right here live. This is the pre-show stuff that we do.
Every time.
Laughing. And we can't hear her.
Not yet. No audio again. Every time.
Nothing.
Every time.
No sound
every
at all.
Time. Every
Can you hear
time.
me?
Yep, I can hear you just fine.
You can't hear me?
Yep.
Okay, all right. I'm going to pull up my Facebook Messenger while you figure that out, and we'll keep talking. So everybody had
every time.
a really good situation for 4th of July. You can tell I can't talk and open up Facebook Messenger at the same time. It's crazy. So while we're waiting for Nat to do that too, I could get... Let's see.
Audio.
I can get... There's the StreamYard. Where is her video links? Sorry, guys. We'll get it. We'll get it. And they're up here a ways, I guess. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Nat's got like 5 accounts. So, all right. So we're going to show off Tegu. We got a little bit of video because the Tegu's in bed right now. Nat logged off and logged back in.
Are we working now?
Nope.
Not yet.
No volume whatsoever. Nope. That's why we do this stuff ahead of time.
Every time.
Nat, this is why we don't get in traffic.
I know. I'm sorry.
We can all lip read, right? Nat's got good mouth for lip reading. What is her necklace? I don't know. Show it off a little closer. It's self-defense. It's clearly for stabbing someone. It is a Tegu pelvis, I think, is what it is. We'll find out with the hemipene still attached, right? I'm using my mouse to show you guys again because I'm a moron. All right, I'm going to do the Sprite thing because I'm running out of fizz. So,
sweetie, can you bring me your headphones?
She's calling in tech support.
Babe.
I can tell. Yep, she's calling, babe.
Can you bring me your headphones?
Menagerie. My kids wanted to watch Josh Wiseman cooking vids. What? I can do cooking vids. Josh Wiseman can eat it. I'll do cooking vids. Shoot. Ready? Here we go. Wait, who can you hear? You guys can hear her, but I can't?
Oh, you can. Okay, so they
That's going to be weird.
I think it's on you, bro. Because I got some other headphones just in case.
Settings.
Everyone can see and hear you. I mean, it says everybody can. So
they can hear you, but I can't. So
for you guys who can hear me, this is
the first time ever. I can't hear anything. I have no sound from her. Oh.
Okay, hang on.
Try again. Don't laugh. My headphones weren't on. Welcome to the show, Nat.
Every time.
Glad to have you back. Totally my fault. So I'm going to try to chug all this Sprite, and then I'm going to try not to vomit.
Oh my
So
God.
apparently
Stand
you
by,
burp like a
because I
cannonball.
really
Have you
need to
seen
see
these?
this, but I want these to connect.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you. I just want to make sure you guys don't hear a bunch of background noise.
I don't hear anything else but you,
Oh, interesting.
which is weird. Like I was expecting to hear that ceiling fan and I can't. So,
Huh.
salute.
That is really interesting. And here we go.
Oh, that's going to be bad in a minute.
Oh, that's going to be terrible.
Yeah. I should have shook first. Here we go. All right.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody hear me, and is there background noise?
I can hear you and no background noise. I'm going to
Wait.
turn up my business over here, though, because my business is quiet. There we go. All right. So, Nat, we're going to talk about Tegus because you're Nat Tegu and Dionysus Tegu.
We might actually be able to see her because I think she was rustling around.
We can do that now. Bring her on.
So let me.
You can hear my cat. My cat's not even down here. He's sleeping on the couch, I think. Maybe.
So she does have her own privacy curtains.
I see that.
Yeah.
She's still been a princess. How old is she now?
She is. We are in 2022. She's 4 now.
Okay. Apparently, I need to get a 2-liter Sprite to burp this challenge out because I'm not getting anything really.
Hi. You want to come out, or was that for show? You're gonna make me look silly, aren't you?
That is a masterful cage. How big is that cage?
This is a. I wish I did it the other way around, but it is 8 feet by 4 feet tall by 3 feet deep.
Okay.
And I wish I would have done it 4 feet deep and 3 feet tall, which I think is the bare minimum in my own personal opinion, only because she does use every square inch of it and she still comes out to roam. And so, but it looks like, so I'm going to leave this open so she does want to come out. She knows how to use her ramp. This is, okay. I'm not advocating for this, but this is IKEA. This is a shelf, but it perfectly goes over her lip and she can have traction on it. I sent you a video of her going up some, it was a bird ladder. There were 2 of them, and I should have stuck them together a little bit more because they were able to separate a bit, and she was kind of wibble wobbly on there.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, there were 2 bird ladders that were just right next to each other because she's very wide. She is a big girl, not overweight from what the vet and other breeders state. You guys can be the judge. Her lateral line is ridiculous, like protruding on there. And she's, oh, there she is. Okay, so hi, baby. Do you want to come out? Hi. Okay, so I'm going to travel with you guys a little bit. All right, so cool. We're going to do camera. Oh, no, we're not going to turn that off. Back facing.
Everybody's liking your, oh, there she is. She's coming out.
Di, you want to come out? Come on. Use your ramp. Come on.
Now, is she target trained? I know last time we talked, you were working on it.
So she is target trained. I don't have treats for her right now, and I like to continuously associate that target with food.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Not discouraged, and she understands that that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm just asking.
But yes, she absolutely is target trained. Come on, baby. Come on.
Come on out, Dion.
You know better. Come on. There you go. Come on. Get that wibble wobble out of the way. Thank you.
Look at those
She does understand certain commands. She does like to be a little arrogant sometimes and do her own thing. Oh, there we go. There we go. Come on.
Oh, here comes my cat. You want to see this thing?
What's that noise? What's that noise? You know what that noise is. Come on.
Can you hear the kitty?
Yep.
I will let you eat this kitty. I'll tell you right now. You can have her.
Come on, baby. Am I going to have to force you out? Because I will.
You don't have to.
Yeah, she is. She'll
She's a
come out when she
beast.
feels like it. Her enclosure is
Yeah.
a bit on the dry side right now, and it's pretty basic because what you guys don't know, Di had a bit of a situation to where she decided to drop part of her tail.
Oh,
And so that is all nice and healed up now.
is that from smacking the side like tail whipping? I didn't know they could drop it.
So she dropped about 4 inches of her tail. I do have it around here somewhere, and I can find it.
Okay. You have the tail stump?
Yeah,
Of course you do.
Of course I kept it.
Here's the deal. 50% of our viewers would have kept it. The other 50 would have fed it to isopods to see how long it lasted.
Let's see. I know I have you. Oh, here we go.
Everybody's super into your plants, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I have quite a few mixed in there. So I decided not to preserve it in alcohol. It is all dried up and mummified now.
Yes, it is.
That's all she decided to drop.
Unbelievable. Yeah, hi, buddy. Are you worried we're talking about other people's pets and not you?
Kind of off topic, but I can tell you what happened to hopefully educate others.
Absolutely. We're always off topic.
So, I mean, it's still Tegu's, but I found out this also happened to an individual with a rock iguana.
Okay.
So what happened was she had a little bit difficulty shedding her tail, which most Tegus do, apparently. They have, not all the time, but with her being so picky with her diet, she decides to not take things with multivitamin a lot. So sometimes getting in certain things can be a hassle. So every once in a while she had some issues, but she'll usually shed it in a cycle or so. It's not a huge deal. It's just a little bit slower sometimes. This time, her shed stuck on a little bit longer after brumation. And so we did lots of soaks, lots of salmon oil, lots of fruits and veggies, a huge mixture of different things. I grinded up a bunch of different things and made a whole mash for her. And then she completely shed everything. Everything was coming off super easily. I mean, it was just no resistance, like popping off like it normally should, or at least I thought. Then this little piece of tail, it came off, but it seemed a little bit not quite as white as it usually is. It was a little bit more of a tint to it. And apparently, I guess her skin wasn't quite ready. So it dried up and essentially died because it dried up and it wasn't able to retain moisture because it didn't have the skin protecting it. And so it shriveled up. It shriveled up while it was still on her. I do have pictures and videos of happening. I monitored her daily. I checked on her all the time. It looked like it was getting better. And then all of a sudden she disappeared for about 3 or 4 days. I was trying to check on her and she just was not having it. And she kept like burrowing herself under her dirt. She's got a lot of dirt in there. And finally she came out. And this was about halfway off and then just dropped off in her basking area. So I contacted a vet tech, asked her what in the French toast happened. And she's like, let me send it to a few people I know. Apparently the exact same thing happened to somebody with a rock iguana. They had some stuck shed, came off really easily. Next thing you know, their skin shriveled up and they dropped part of their tail. So do not pick any skin off of your animals. It is very important, is basically the moral of the story. Even if you leave it on, leave it on, even if you think it's loose. Like there are certain are you wanting to come out? No? Okay, she's trying to figure it out. Leave it on. I mean, if you see it obviously dangling completely, okay, maybe assist, but honestly, just don't do it. It's not worth it. Like it was super loose. I was no resistance. I literally held on to it barely, and she wiggled right out of it, and it was so loose. It was literally look separate from the skin, as you see in most pictures where they do like this awesome pop where just almost all of it detaches from them, and it's a magnificent shed. She's done that quite a few times, but after this brumation, it was not quite the case. It was a little bit more difficult. So But they do drop their tails. They can drop it for a multitude of reasons, whether it be for health issues or a predator. Where they're from, they do have big cats there. So they can drop their tails and they will regenerate. It takes time, but they'll regenerate and it'll come back all black. It'll never come back the same.
Like the rest of so it will come back. But it's like every other lizard where it's not the same. Like it's a weird
it's
shape
just not
and
the
texture.
same. It'll be all of it will be black as opposed to having the stripes on it.
Too awesome. I think that's so cool. Now, how big is she now? Like what does she weigh? You said you took her to the vet.
Before she dropped her tail, she was 50.5 inches.
Okay. It's a little over 4 feet. Okay.
Yeah, so she has since dropped, what is that, about 4 inches of tail.
Okay.
Roughly about 3.5 or so inches of tail. So I do need to get a more accurate measurement of her. Weighing her is a little bit difficult. Last time I weighed her, she was about 8.5 pounds.
Okay, that's way smaller than I assumed.
So, yeah, she's about 8.5, sometimes 9 pounds after like a decent meal. But like usually after like a whole prey day, she'll definitely be on the 9 pound side.
When we would have a difficult dog at the vet.
Now?
Here she comes. When we had a difficult dog at the vet to weigh, I would just pick him up and then stand on the scale.
You're just gonna make it difficult for yourself? Okay, cool. That's cool. And very graceful. Very graceful.
Yeah, they're not. Now, what are they mostly eating in the wild? What are these guys? What's their diet like?
Oh goodness. So they've done quite a few studies, quite a bit in South America, but most recently in South Florida, because they have that wild population there now of like the fire bellies. Oh, there's her timer. And so those fire bellies, they have been, I wish I would have sent you those pictures. They have dissected them they dissected them and look at their stomach contents. And a lot of them are eating a surprising amount of plant matter and insects, more than they assumed on the plant matter side. They found a mixture of like different berries. They have found definitely a decent amount of like eggshells as well. They raid a lot of different nests. So they are eating, like I have fed Dai balut eggs, which is a delicacy in certain parts of Asia, which is a partially developed embryo. Yeah.
Gross. Yeah.
It's an interesting thing for sure. I have fed her that to give her that like nest raid kind of a feel. So I've definitely let her kind of go to. Oh, thank you so much for knocking over my ponytail palms. Thank you so much. I love picking up dirt. Thank you. So they'll eat a decent amount of eggs and whatnot, different invertebrates out in the wild. So I try to mimic that as best I can, with giving her a different variety of things. And but for the most part, they are definitely omnivores. They are your food disposals for sure. They'll also eat semi-rotting carcasses of certain things. So
I would imagine,
if they find a dead bird or something like that, they'll definitely eat it. Even if it's been a few days, their stomach is definitely hardier than like snakes or something like that need to eat fresh and things like that, or things that are a little bit more on the fresh side. Like if you do frozen thawed, then obviously you want to freeze it as quickly as possible. But so yeah, definitely you want to make sure you have a variety of food in there and make sure you're giving them their calcium and multivitamin. Like multivitamin, I cannot stress it enough. She tastes it in almost everything, so I've become inventive on hiding it. But multivitamin is so important. I cannot stress it enough.
I wonder if there's a way to get it, like just out of what's in there. You always do your homework on everything, but to get it in the diet.
There's certain fruits and vegetables, like vitamin A, you can get it from butternut squash. And so to try to introduce that into their diet, Alaskan salmon oil has a lot of different like fatty acids and things like that they would get from their varied diet out in the wild of those different types of like lizards and invertebrates. Because they definitely eat other lizards and whatnot too. They're very opportunistic.
Well, like they're so slow. I was shocked at
They're
what a
not.
big predator they are. No,
They're not slow. No, they're not slow.
I've
They
never.
are.
The only time I
Guys,
saw
I
one
am
move
talking
fast is
about
when
you.
she went after
Sorry.
the underpants.
Yeah,
That was
they
the
are.
only time.
They're very fast. They are documented on running on their hind legs. They will run very, very fast. They will, for lack of a better term, haul butt very quickly to their target. They seem very lazy and lethargic. They are anything but when given the opportunity, or whenever they need to seize an opportunity. I guess that's the better way of
Yeah, yeah.
putting it. Yeah, no, she's very fast. Like, I'm constantly looking over at her because she seems slow, but she definitely will give me a look, or give a look overall if she's something catches her eye and she's ready to chase after it.
Okay.
I thankfully have trained her quite a bit. Like, for example, right now she's looking for food. Today's not one of her feeding days.
Cool.
She does not eat every day.
Let me see if I can pull that up. Let me see if I remember how to do this.
The video?
Share. Yep. Let me see.
Which video are you looking for?
Well, I have them on there, so I have to see.
Hi. Hello.
Which
You want
one
to
it
come up and
is.
say hi for a minute, or are you just going to hang out?
Okay.
Okay, I'll let you hang out. That's cool.
Let me see what we got here. Oh,
Totally
I'm
cool.
getting messages here. All right, this is her eating. She's having, oh, here we go.
She is eating Reptilinks.
Yep, she's having some corn dogs. Corn dogs.
So
She likes corn dogs as much as I do.
Oh, for sure. That is in her designated bathroom. It gets disinfected every single day, to the utmost degree, to ensure that if she does drop any food and needs to pick it up off the floor, I'm not worried about any bacteria or anything like that. We don't even use that restroom for anything else but her. So we're out here, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So they're surprisingly very intelligent for what we give them credit for. She definitely understands different things. My partner has trained her accidentally.
Okay.
There is actually, I don't have it in here right now. But we had there's like these little foldable storage bins that you can get that are like cloth, and some of them you can have like a cat bed in it. It has like a little hole in the middle. Yeah. So when I went on vacation to go visit my family, he had to watch her and wasn't comfortable carrying her, and because they're not arboreal, so they do not like to be carried. At least mine definitely doesn't. I did not condition her to be up high like some people can have theirs like on their head. I cannot do that with Di. Number one, I didn't want to train her to go on my head at that size because I am all but 5'4" and $118, and so
she's like as long as you.
A 9-pound lizard, on my head. So that was just a personal choice, and
she's about 8 inches shorter than you. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Anyway, you don't want to be that guy anyway. You don't want to be that person that has their reptile up on them all the time. Like, settle down.
Honestly, like, more power to them, because that takes a lot of desensitization and a huge bond. I'm just not comfortable with it. What? Excuse you. Oh, okay. So she's shedding, so she's rubbing her face on everything.
Okay. Shedding again. All right.
But so anyway, so my partner didn't want to carry her from her enclosure to the restroom, and so instead ingeniously grabbed that little carrier and just put it in front of her enclosure. She climbed into it and would just stay in there until he got to the bathroom, and then he would put her down. She got out, and then she would get in it when she was ready to go. Trained her within a couple of days.
Okay.
And then she'll notify us when she's ready, when she's done free roaming. So as you'll see in this video, It'll demonstrate what she does to tell us that she wants to get back in her enclosure.
Now she can't really. Can she get back in on her own or no?
She technically can, but I don't want her to hurt herself. She has already ripped off a toenail before.
Okay.
She's actually ripped off 2. One of them more severe than the other. They are clumsy as all get out. That's why I have the little ramp now. I don't want her trying to jump. So she can get in there, but she's smart enough to just be like, hey, let me in. I know you will put me where I need to go without me trying. And then if I take too long, then she'll just try herself.
Let's see. All right, we'll take that out of there. Perfect. So, so what is this necklace?
All done.
You told these guys what the necklace is. What is this necklace?
Oh, it's bobcat. It comes from a bobcat.
Okay.
It's the coccyx, like where the tailbone begins.
Gotcha. I was close. It's a pelvis.
It is.
Partly?
It is. Like it is close. It is close. Yeah, these guys are ridiculously intelligent. Like I can't. I honestly believe I have saved my fingers a few times by her training.
Okay.
I definitely respect her. That's why I keep looking around. A lot of people are like, oh, she's so sweet. She's so sweet. And she honestly is. That's why her nickname is Sweet Dionysus. She's a very sweet girl, but she's also a wild animal. And so I definitely respect her and look for different signs, and I at least know her well enough to know what to look for in her behavior.
My wife makes fun of me because I'll find the videos. My YouTube will pop up videos of people that are getting attacked by their own pets, and 99% of them are reptiles. And this lady had a 12-foot, 13-foot Burmese.
Oh, the one that was in feeding mode? That came out of the enclosure?
It didn't look like it. Like, she took the lid off and it popped out straight. And she's like, oh, hey, how you doing? And
very
boom, it just grabbed her.
She should have known that behavior. That behavior was like, very... Dude. It wasn't just inquisitive. It was, is that food? Is that food?
Oh, see, I didn't get that. I just got that. It was like, that makes sense now. But like when I saw it, I just thought the snake was like, hey, how you doing?
Done. I'm sorry.
No worries. And they have those teeth. The Tegus have those teeth.
They definitely do have teeth. They definitely have teeth. She only bit me one time. And it was on accident when she was super teeny tiny. She was about 6, maybe 7 months. And this is when I was, hang on.
Yeah.
Excuse you, madam. No.
No problem with Tegu ownership.
Back inside. I'm sorry. This is not exploring hour.
Vic, that's not really why I don't own snakes. Part of it is my wife would murder me. I feel like a snake would be really a lot harder to hide than a tarantula. But watching that lady, I was on my phone and I saw it come up and I hit it. And I watched that lady get bit and it's just wrapping around her arm. She's yelling at the other guy to like help her. He's doing it wrong. So, and she's just bleeding onto the floor, like open bleed. Dude, come on. I'm trying to do a show here. Let's get professional. So, and I'm like, you dumb son of a bitch. And my wife was like, our daughter's right here. And I was like, yeah, but this lady. And I had to apologize. Faith, don't say those words. Daddy says dumb stuff all the time. I'm going to guess the Tegu bite is not. They have the like shredding teeth, right?
It is gnarly. They have very sharp teeth. They will barrel roll like an alligator.
So they want to rip chunks off. They want to rip chunks.
To rip things up.
Okay.
Not as super often, but they definitely will do it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that they will shake vigorously to rip things up and make things more manageable. Like when I feed her whole prey, especially when I feed her chicken chicks, which are all frozen thawed, the only thing live she gets are insects.
Okay.
And that's just personal choice. Whenever I feed her chicken chicks, I just could not imagine what that would sound like if that thing were alive. It is really brutal. She is not a merciful killer at all. She is quite it's quite gnarly.
She's vigorous.
It's quite gnarly. most times she will take it down whole, but there have been cases that I've had a few pieces of chicken bits scattered in the shower.
Okay.
And not super fun to clean up.
I imagine. Yeah. So you feed her in that bathtub, basically.
Yeah. Typically, I'll feed her
Whole
in the
prey.
bathtub if it's whole prey. If it's larger whole prey, like if I just want to feed her one or two decently sized prey items, then I'll feed her in the shower. Otherwise, if they're smaller, like quail or anything like that, or like smaller mice that maybe one of the snakes didn't eat, she's kind of my food disposal sometimes. I'll give it to her just real quick. I mean, a pinky for her is, I mean, she eats dubias bigger than that. So
yeah,
she just
I
takes
get to
it
see
down.
her with like a salad bowl of dubias, just
yeah. Dubious for her now. She's kind of XL or nothing.
So now, with you don't do live, but insects, right? Insects are the only live.
Insects are the only thing live. I choose to give her.
I mean, that's totally fair. I feel like it would be. I'd have bad dreams.
You trying to go back? This is the wrong door, madam. Okay, we're gonna zoom into the camera real quick. Oh, excuse me, Miss Ploppykins. We're gonna say goodbye.
Oh, sweetie. Good night, cheeks.
I know.
Look at those calcium bags.
Good girl. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're such a good girl. Thank you. Nope. There is no food for you. Go to bed.
She's like, but I was good.
I know. She really was. Tomorrow
she was good, Mama. I love her privacy curtains, so she has nothing.
Yeah. She kind of knows this is like lights out. When I put these up, I try to set her lights as close to the sun as I can, so I make it longer during the summer and shorter during the winter time.
Okay.
And then I try to cycle to where her UV turns off last, so her heat turns off, so it starts to like cool down, and then her UV cuts off.
That makes a lot of sense. My wife, what is this? Menagerie is saying they don't have room for a tegu, but
it's a lot of room. I don't understand how people have multiple. More power to them.
Well, I'm looking at this cage, and I feel like you could put a mattress on top of there and be fine. Like,
you can definitely fit about a twin size mattress on top of there. There are people who created bed frames.
There you go.
It is actually a thing. I feel like it'd be really hot, and yeah, that'd be brutal.
Yeah, that would not be a good situation. But I'm saying if you want it, it's available. Like we were looking at riser bed situations for the kid, because like I could put a 55-gallon under there.
Like those bunk bed kind of situations where you give yourself enough like airway ventilation. So
yes, so you're up by the ceiling, so that ceiling fan is just got it. Trade off. It's a trade off. So these guys, what kind of tegu is she specifically? Because I know there's a few different ones.
There are quite a few. There's also some smaller subspecies we're not super familiar with. Okay. So I have to do even more research on it. I have to send her photo to a little more people like that are a little more well versed. A few breeders have stated they believe she's either a Chicoan tegu or Chicoan hybrid.
Okay.
So since I've gotten her, to this point, for me, she's either Chicoan or Chicoan hybrid. She is a large individual. That may just be her genetics. It could be that some tegus from the Chaco region are a little bit larger, kind of like how reds from Paraguay are very, very decently sized individuals. Those guys can come in at solid 10, 12, 13 pounds. We're looking at a beast of a tegu.
That is, I mean, she's a beast right there, but like 13 pounds, another like 40% of her weight that she has now.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Look at these guys Googling stuff already. So the tegu bite force is 1,000 N, whatever that is.
Newtons.
45 pounds.
I think Newtons.
There you go. I feel like Russ would know. I tuned into Russ's show and I started.
Somebody correct us. Is it Newtons? I'm not 100% sure.
She's from the same area as my tarantula. She's going to get as big as Godzilla. Let's hope not. Although you live kind of near some of those old nuclear testing sites, don't you?
I'm not that far. I'm not that far. I'm the
See?
southwest area of our nation, so I'm not.
Yeah, a lot of that. It's Newtons. We verified it. The capital N is Newtons. We're smart.
It is Newtons. Hey.
Yeah, I tuned into Russ's live feed early on tonight, and
nice. I wasn't able to do that. Ugh.
I was like, I can't do this anymore before my show because I feel like an idiot. Russ, they're asking Russ's advice, and he's just kicking stuff out, and I'm like, what's the capital N for? Is that math? Is that a math N?
Oh yeah, no, they can. Yeah, they can definitely bite hard. I've seen Di, and you've seen her dive bomb mouth first into the ground to bite onto something, and it's very intimidating to say the least.
All of those attack things that I see in some of these animals, like watching her eat those corn dogs, that's how I picture them grabbing eggs. You know what I mean? Or like,
yeah, they kind of just eat them whole. Like when I give her quail eggs, I wish I had a better video of her eating quail eggs. I was trying to upload one, but it wasn't very clear. She will sometimes just swallow them whole, and sometimes she like wants the taste of them, so she'll crunch them around in the back of her jaws,
just to open them.
To open them up and get that yolk. And sometimes she'll drink the yolk and then spit the shell out, and it's hilarious. I'm like, you are too bougie. I can't with you.
It's like, why? What today?
Yeah, like no. That's too much calcium. I just want the good stuff.
So we figured out it's fig newtons are the newtons, and it equals the amount of force it takes to bite through X number of fig newtons. So she could bite through 1,000 fig newtons in one bite. That's the bite force. Which 225 pounds, I feel like that would go through 1,000 fig newtons.
That's a lot.
Like if I sat on 1,000 fig newtons, they'd be over with. Every single one of them would be over with. So, see, we don't stay on track here.
Not at all. But we're still talking about Tegus. So, I mean, hey, we're
kinda.
It's progress. It's progress.
We're kind of talking about Tegus. So now what, is Tegu like its own branch? Or are they like, I mean, they have a lot of features in common with, they look like a cross to me between like crocodilians and monitors. They're like in the middle there.
So they're, I wish I had my notes out. I feel so ill prepared. I'm so sorry, you guys. So they are within their own category. That's why I said there are a bunch of different species that we in the pet trade are not too familiar with. There are some very smaller species. What was that?
So they're Cubaris. Okay.
Yeah, right? Yeah, essentially. they're to a degree. They're like the Cubaris of it. There's so many species that we're not super aware of that are even smaller and more carnivorous than they are. These guys, we've noticed, we believe, and I say we as if I'm some flippin' researcher, but
you do your homework.
Exactly. A lot of people believe that because of their size, that's what allows them to be more omnivorous, to take advantage of different prey items, as well as being able to supplement with different plants and things like that. And so...
Oh, so here's our Google.
400 species of lizard. Yes, exactly. So yes, exactly. There's a huge amount of them. Like, that's ridiculous. We have barely scratched the surface with the amount of tegus that there are. There are some smaller species that some people are starting to bring into the pet trade, and it's really interesting to see that research being done like at a home level, and seeing that people are actually taking more of an interest in bringing newer species into the hobby and trying to educate ourselves with all sorts of different animals out there. So it's amazing.
I think that's awesome. I think the pet trade is, the responsible pet trade now, like the keepers. Excuse me. Whew, I know I'm going to be burping the rest of the night, but I thought it would be one big explosive.
It's going to carry.
It was not. I wanted it to be like this, and I was all like, okay, we're ready. Use your chest. What was I saying? So I think the keepers now.
Responsible pet trade.
I don't want to say responsible pet trade. I don't want to say the pet trade because there's still those guys. I see them at the shows, and
I mean, they're everywhere. Let's just kind of put it out there. They're everywhere. Yeah.
Young me is excited to see them because I'm like, they're gonna have weird shit. I'm excited. They're gonna have something I haven't seen before or something I haven't seen in 20 years. And sure enough, they absolutely do. And then, yeah, Vic wants to know if Tegus are related to
Not that
Gila
I'm aware
monsters.
of. Not that
I
I'm
didn't
aware
think
of.
so.
No. They have a different skull structure, as well as there was another huge differentiating factor, of course, other than the fact that I mean Gilas are venomous. And well, there's an argument that most, and if not all, monitors are Salvatore are venomous, because they can cause damage. We'll get into that at
Okay.
another point. We'll talk about venom and all the fun jazz, and we can bring somebody else in there too who talks about it. But
I gotta get somebody in. They're from the Teleteidae family,
that is
and a smaller number are from Gib. Yep.
kind of midday.
Jaglones.
Yes, midday. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, because
Gynecologist Family. Okay, there we go. Got that's it. I think
thank
that's
you, thank you very much. Yeah,
that.
there's a few differentiating factors. I just remember the most was the skull, was the way the skull structure was.
Okay, can you use it like a whistle, like the Velociraptor?
No.
Okay. All right. We're learning today, guys. We're learning a lot of questions that I knew the answer to before I asked them. What did Don say? We're saying, geez, Don. Late as usual. All right, that's all. Not as late as our guest, Don. No kidding. I'm just glad you're here. So I know that your schedule's usually pretty packed. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So there really aren't arboreal, right? Dude, how many times do I have to spray you with the spray?
Negative. They will climb to a degree, definitely not arboreal. From my understanding and from other people's, it is a trained behavior in order to, like I said, be on the shoulder or withstand being held, even like that pose of being held. When I carry Di, I have to fully support her hind legs as well as her tail. Okay. So she doesn't panic. So that way she kind of feels grounded.
Yeah, she wants to support.
Yeah, and I can only do that for short periods of time. Like she just does that nice, like super uncomfortable wiggle to where she's like, just put me down. She doesn't get aggressive, but she does get like frustrated.
Oh, I bet it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. It's like if you picked me up. I'm not arboreal. If someone picked me up,
yeah, exactly. If some random person picked you up without warning, you know, you kind of panic for a little while.
Like, and just a side note, speaking of conventions and stuff and shows, so does anybody know who Kevin Nash is, the wrestler? I don't know if you know who he is. He's like 60 years old now. I was at a Comic-Con. He was there. He's 6'8", 6'9", and jacked. He is jacked. And so he wanted $60 for a photo with him. I told him I'd give him $100, but he'd have to pick me up and hold me like a baby, and then they could take the picture. And he was like, "Nah, man, sorry." But he laughed really hard, so he just let me take a picture with him for free.
Hey, nice.
So I'd find that photo and bring it up here. But he is a monster. He makes me look like a child, and that is, I'm 6'4". Like, that's not easy to do. Okay, back on track. So we were talking about keepers and fueling the trade, fueling the research, I think, because there's a lot of citizen science in a lot of our hobbies. And pretty much everything you do, there's a lot of citizen science.
That's where a lot of these, the start of studying the tegus in Florida started. It was people just taking it in their own hands, trying to trap these guys, see where they are, if they're breeding, where they're breeding, and I've come to find out, of course, they were breeding very, very well without any natural predators, really. Yeah. I mean, they have some predators, but to a point, you know, to a degree, and so they're definitely an interesting species for sure, and I'm really excited that people, like I said, have started taking an interest in them and putting their own, like I said, foot forward in order to get a better understanding of them. And then different universities around Florida then started coming in and then doing the dissections and checking stomach contents and stuff like that to see what they were actually eating, and how they were surviving and thriving down there. What was called seeing their fire bellies. That's a huge marker. I don't know if it's completely distinctive to Florida, but I know it's a huge marker. I think it may be distinctive. Somebody can look it up. I feel like it's a distinctive trait, or is like that Florida fire belly.
What if it's something they're eating?
It could be that. It could be altitude. It could be, you know, the gestation and the barometric pressure. Like there's so many aspects that goes into embryonic development that is, I mean, it's insane.
So they're coming out that way. They're coming out of the egg that way, fire belly.
Yeah. So
okay.
There were that's how I know Di, or at least that's how somebody informed me that Di probably has some of that trait in her, because when she was younger, her belly was just super orange, very vibrant. I don't think that may be the case. I think it was just a lot of certain lightings and things like that with pictures. She was more of an orangey tone and yellow than red. And so, and then it started to fade, and then it got really white. And that's where she is now. She has no yellow at all. She's just super light. After her shed. And then a couple of days later, then she's back to like eggshell, then super dingy.
Until she gets in that sterile bathtub.
Yeah.
Hanging out. So does she like to swim in the tub too, or no? No, she's not a water.
She hates bats.
Wow.
Hates them. She detests them. She tolerates them. For a little while. She really hated them. I potty trained her to go in warm water. So when she was really little, I would carry her and put her into a warm bath. She would immediately defecate. I would take her out, wash her, rinse her, and then I feed her. That was like her reward. It's like, good job, you went potty.
So I got my daughter to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So it's that reward. It's like, okay, you did what I wanted you to do, and then you get a reward. They're very food motivated. And so I potty trained her. But she also, I think I inadvertently trained her not to stay in water by doing that, because as soon as she would defecate, I pulled her out. So because obviously for sanitary reasons.
Yeah. So now she poops and she's done.
So yeah. So now it's, if I have to soak her, sometimes she'll go, sometimes she won't. Now I've kind of trained her to like go in the bathroom. I started to do puppy pads, and then I was like, this is just going to be super, I don't know. It was just kind of like a lot of cost for me. I'm like, I can just watch her and just have her in a designated area. Yeah. And then it's just easier just to take some Clorox wipes and, you know, do a little quick wipey and disinfect. And then I do the full floor disinfecting just in case, because I don't ever want to.
Better than me. I would just be like, you know what? I'm going to clean it, and then we're going to just let some giant canyons run around in here. Hey, I got my aunt for the night. Let some giant canyons run around in here, and yeah, this is why I asked about her swimming. So 22 minutes underwater.
Oh yeah, no, she can definitely, yeah. She's scared me a few times when I've soaked her, where she'll just underwater, and I'm like, oh, are you okay? Like, yeah, she's definitely frightened me a couple of times. She stayed under a few times. Now that she's bigger, she understands that her bath time is like limited, if you will. Like, it's always like a quick shower, a quick soak, and out the door. Yeah, she definitely does not prefer water. She prefers a shower over a bath.
That's kind of weird. Like, not weird, but that's not what I would expect.
Yeah,
a lot of them are semi-aquatic, but I mean, she has never had to really look for food or anything underwater, or escape a predator underwater or anything like that. So it wouldn't be natural anymore. I don't know. Yeah, it's not her thing.
Not for her anyway. It doesn't feel that way. I've tried to give her like different enrichment. You know, I've given her giant water tubs in her enclosure, and it just, honestly, it goes for nothing. When she just has her temper tantrums, it's the only time she'll go in there to splish splash and make a mess. I feel like she knows what she's doing. So yeah, it's the only time she would ever go in there is just to intentionally make a mess, because she wants to get out. Yeah, she's like, let me out. Mm-hmm.
Give me a whole chicken or I'm gonna knock this out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Too funny. Yeah. I was just going to get into the vitamins thing again because I'm trying to brainstorm. I know you've thought of it too, but like the multivitamin's not good. So you can't pack like a quail full
Oh, I
of the
do.
vitamin. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
right.
absolutely. Like I said, I've gotten super sadistically creative with making sure my animal eats what she's supposed to, because it is trial and error a lot of times. You know, people can be like, oh, your basking temperature, your humidity. It's like, okay, well, but humidity doesn't have to stay that the entire time. You should have cycles, just like the sun evaporates and then, you know, allows for a higher humidity point. Like it, there are cycles throughout the day. There's a lot of things we're still learning. And then I'm in a very arid environment. So when I tell people I run, you know, a mister plus I spray, and then every once in a while I'll still use a humidifier here and there, like it's because it's necessary for me. That may not be somebody who lives in Florida or, you know, Georgia or somewhere that's Louisiana or something like that. It's going to be very different. So even food can sometimes be a little bit different only because of what's available.
Yeah.
I try to give her as best I can, as much of a diverse, you know, options as possible. And then of course I do my research. I'm like, okay, what has the most vitamin D? What has the most vitamin A? What has the most like potassium, or not too much potassium, but enough, you know? And so, yeah, it like, I'm not trying to be like Pangea and have like the perfect recipe, but I definitely try to do my best and give her as much of a varied diet as I can. I mean, this girl eats better than like 80% of the state I live in. Like
Probably the U.S. population. I just see like
I wouldn't be surprised if this girl gets scallops, she gets shrimp, and she gets papaya and mangoes and, you know,
unreal.
squash. Like she is living it up. Silver sides and like
Now,
I
is that a
promise.
thing? Like if you're eating papaya, you can't go in there with papaya on your hands, right? Because she'll think that's food.
So I've trained her
Okay.
fairly well. Where I have definitely smelled like her food, and I have trained her where when I do this, all gone, I say all gone, and I do this to her, she knows that she's done. Like there's no food. Every time I fed her
Okay.
from the day that I got her, literally until just 2 days ago when she last ate, um, that's what I do. When she's done with her food, I take her plate and I say all gone. Sometimes I tongue feed her, sometimes I just put it on a plate and she'll eat it herself, and I take it away and I say all gone.
Okay.
And
Every time.
that saved my fingers. Where one time she hauled butt across from one, like in the room 10 feet, and I promise you, maybe 3/4 of a second to a second, she went across about a solid 15 to 20 feet, and mouth wide open, and I just went, all gone, and she stopped in her tracks, licked a few times the air, and was like, oh, okay, that's not food.
Oh my god.
I almost shit myself. And
oh god.
yeah, I was just like, all gone. Like my first reaction was revert back to her training. I thank God. And so, but that was my first reaction. And thankfully, I believe that that's what saved my fingers.
Holy cow.
Was that I trained her that from when she was 9 inches.
That is unreal. Like that. That's cool that saved you. I don't want to see you on YouTube getting chomped with a finger. Because I feel like this, no offense, I feel like this is like all gone. Like that's just, oh, hey, five little corn dogs.
Right. You would think, but I don't know. I feel like I was able to differentiate my hand from food at an early age.
Yeah.
And was able, and I also, like I said, that's just worked for me. This is things that I have done. I'm not saying it's gonna be a 100% works for everybody. Mm-hmm. Every Tegu is also different. I know some Tegus that people own, that they've owned them for years, and they'll still take their finger off. They just never tame down. So I don't ever call it tame. I call it just being a little more docile.
I feel like they have, like the larger reptiles, the smarter ones, have like cat brain. Like
that, and that's exact. I like that you utilize that. because a lot of people are like, oh, Tegu, you must have a scaly puppy. And I'm like, nah, it's more like a cat.
No. And I see those videos of people with them on their chest or whatever, watch TV, and I'm like, what are you doing? Somebody's going to do this with a Tegu they just bought, and they're going to get chomped in the face.
Like,
Because they're, like, maybe you can do that.
Yeah.
But
But
why
not
are you
everybody
promoting
can.
it? Yeah. Or there's a guy that's doing stuff with alligators in his little zoo or whatever, and he makes it look like, oh, it's no big deal. And I am waiting. I'm like, show the video where it just takes him down. Show that video, please, because he's going to get someone killed. Some idiot in Florida is going to think they can walk up to an alligator on a golf course like this and be like, oh, I'll just put my hand under his chin. And that dude's
just
losing his
take
arm.
care of it. Yeah. I kind of wish that videos like that did have a little bit of an advisory, like, hey, I've been working with animals for a long time, or hey, don't try this, at least some sort of.
Yeah.
Maybe
his longer
not
videos do that. Yeah, his longer videos do that, but it's like his TikTok does not. It's a TikTok, so it's like it's a little bitty.
Like rapid fire.
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of videos. That makes sense. Unfortunately, but.
Yeah, but I think that people, how like a cat is independent, like they just, like after a couple days, if you're dead, your cats will eat you. Like they just are like, okay, you're on the menu. Like if you die in your house and you have cats, they'll just.
I mean, dogs will do that too, but.
Dogs will wait a while.
They might wait a little longer, I guess.
Cats are just like, oh man, you didn't give me canned food. Well, I gotta eat your toes. Sorry, bro. I am wishing harm on idiot alligator people. I am. People that show that they're not scary. Like that bear man guy or whatever, grizzly man.
Oh,
like I'm not gonna say that guy got what he deserved, but he's a cautionary tale now, and I think that's more informative than anything he ever did with those grizzlies. His cautionary tale is more valuable to the public. That's awful to say. I feel like an asshole saying that, right?
It's very unfortunate. I'm on both sides of it. It's an unfortunate thing. It shouldn't have happened. Did it happen? Is it going to teach a lesson? Hopefully, like I
hope so.
An unfortunate situation. Like I said, I tell everybody all the time, it's about respecting the animal. It's about understanding it is still a wild animal, regardless of how long you've owned it. Oh, and anytime anybody asks me, it's like, oh, does Di bite? She absolutely can. The likelihood is low, though not non-existent.
It's as low as the likelihood of her biting is a direct ratio to how stupid you are.
To a degree, yeah, absolutely, yeah. To a degree. Like I said, it's all about looking at different warning signs. It's about being vigilant. I've definitely agitated her before. Absolutely, she has. Not there. I can count, thankfully, on one hand the amount of times that I've upset her. Like she'll do the tail wiggle and just the get away, Yeah. And I'm like, okay, you're okay. Like you're okay. I'll back up and give you your space, and then she'll calm down. So it's really about respecting their space as well, and hopefully, like you said, putting an advisory out there, like, hey, this is my Tegu, I've owned him for a really long time, and he or she is really sweet, or he or she hasn't shown any type of aggression, so I put a certain amount of trust in them. So like, shoot, I don't trust her as far as I can throw her, and that ain't far. So because she'll just wiggle out of my hands.
Right. But like at the same time, you trust her more than you trust someone else's Tegu. Like you know her.
Hands down, because I know her mannerisms. I understand certain looks that she does. I understand also overall Tegus, like I said, they'll do this little tail wiggle when they're really agitated. Drax, that is not what you eat. You leave that beetle alone. And so they will definitely let you know that they're agitated. For sure, hands down. And I definitely, you're right. I trust her more than somebody else's Tegu. Somebody else's Tegu, I'm definitely going to be more cautious. I'm going to be on much more high alert, looking at natural warning signs as opposed to maybe learned warning signs, And like I said, they're all different, but they're all very similar. There's certain looks like we call it the side eye. I'm sure you've seen that video of a woman who stupidly sticks her tongue out Tegu,
Yeah.
and that she's holding, and it gives her that look, just kind of like, I'm gonna do it. That looks tasty, and just yeah.
I mean, I can't tell that it got her tongue, but it definitely got her lip. Like
it definitely got her. And I would not want to be the recipient. There was actually a very they've been an awesome individual to me. I can't remember their name on Facebook, but they have a gorgeous red tegu, and apparently theirs bit them on the lip, and it was gnarly.
I bet you. Yes.
She posted about it. She's like, hey, like, this is what happened. I wanted to let people know, like, even those of us who've owned ours for years, it's a wild animal.
So stupid.
So what kind of beetle? Oh, it's a feigning beetle.
Okay, what's Drax?
Drax is a stores monitor. He is a dwarf Australian monitor, similar to an Aki.
Okay. And so he has homies that are beetles?
Yeah, he's got some feigning beetles in there to kind of his bioactive. It's not a full bioactive, but he's got some. He's got some roly-polies and some beetles in there to kind of help out clean it up.
Cool. I heard they're like indestructible. The death feigning beetles are like
they're a trip.
Hard like a walnut.
They're dumber than a box of rocks, and that's an insult to rocks, honestly.
That is every beetle.
I have done everything in my power to block off Drax's water bowl, and they still somehow find a way in there. I take them out, and like an hour later, they're walking around, and I'm like, okay, cool. You're actually not dead. I'm shocked. But yeah, they're very hardy.
Okay.
They're very hardy. They're very dumb. But anyhow, I can't have them in Di's enclosure because she will eat them. They're big enough. She doesn't care. She'll eat them.
And I feel like that would be hard to pass. I feel like they'd be hard to digest and hard to pass.
Yeah, and they're not the right type of, like, it's too humid in Di's enclosure for them. They're very much an arid species. They actually turn black if there's too much humidity in the air. It's hilarious.
Okay.
So yeah, if I stick them in there, they won't survive.
It's like a beetle mood ring.
It is. Yeah, it lets me know if it's too humid in his enclosure.
Settle down on the humidity.
Yeah.
I forget, what is that thing called? The detector? The humidity?
The hygrometer or hygrometer? I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. I say hygrometer. Some people say hygrometer. English is not my first language, so I'm just going to keep
it very well.
Certain way until people correct me how to say it otherwise. Because just correct me, because I don't know. I'm ignorance. I'm ignorant right now with that. But yeah, man. They are my hygrometer or hygrometer.
Now we're talking about beetles and Ackies. So, what kind of ice pods do you keep in that enclosure? See, we're off the rails, man. These people don't care. They don't care why I make it go.
Real quick, and then we'll go to see what's in her enclosure. In his, I have a decent mixture. I have not Persilio, basically powder blues. However, they are the species that are native here to Arizona.
Cool.
We have a native species. I had no idea we had a native species until I bought a house, and my partner's like, hey, one of your roly-polies escaped. And I'm like, that's impossible. I mean, not impossible, because we all know they're wizards, but I was like, there's no way, like that's not possible. And we kept finding them. And sure enough, I did some yard work, and I'm like, with the French toast, we have native guys in here. So I took some in, I waited a few generations, and then popped them suckers right in there. And they are doing bomb.com. I also have some dairy cows that are still left in there. And then a couple of, what is your first language? My first language is Spanish. I am Puerto Rican, but I've been speaking English for 24 years now.
Nice. Yeah,
but
we just keep getting off on these tangents. That's good.
It's okay. But anyway, so yeah, multiple isopods in there, and then in Di's enclosure, I have a mixture of dairy cows, milkbacks, because they're all Porcellio laevis, and it's large enough where they kind of stay in their own territories. Okay. I have devil's rice in there. We all love and hate
In
them.
there?
Dwarf whites in there. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's in
feel
there.
like they could get out easy out of there, no?
It's shocking. I am shocked they have not got out.
That's crazy.
Though at this point I don't care because I'm not selling isopods right now. So it's okay if they seed all of my enclosures. I don't care.
Okay.
Once I start back up with certain isopods, it's going to be a select species and they're going to be away from here. So not too bad. But yeah, so in there I have a plethora of different isopods and springtails. We have native black springtails in Arizona. I had no idea
cool.
about. I don't know the scientific name. I am trying to figure it out, but I have seeded multiple enclosures, including Drax's, with these black springtails. And they're phenomenal. They don't really jump as much.
Okay.
Really, like springtails normally would. They don't really spring.
And
but technically are considered springtails. So they're pretty neat. So I have 3 different springtails in there. I have black springtails, temperate pink ones, and then tropical white ones, which are kind of like the typical ones in the trade you see all the time, the more oblong, long, white, good little guys.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. I know we have a lot of different ones here now because I don't know if you've been keeping up with the other groups, but we have a guy, Ryan Pavey, who's kind of local, who does springtails. And he's got, I think he found like 20 some species in Illinois, like where he's at.
Nice.
Yeah, he's in like central Illinois and he found like 20 and they're totally different. There's globular ones. I didn't know that, but.
Nice. I've been meaning to get a microscope and start doing some field research, if you will, on some of the species. Because they've got to be different kinds. There's no way that there's only one kind of springtail here in this state. Like with the amount of elevation or like the different elevations we have here and the different type of climates, like there's no way there's just one.
You definitely have 60 at least.
There's gotta be. I wouldn't be surprised, especially like here in the valley is so arid, and then you've got Flagstaff and like Sedona and Prescott that are way more humid and get way more rainfall and things like that. So
right. Don wants to know what's with all the guests from Arizona. Arizona's got all the cool stuff, Don.
We have a lot of fun stuff, man. Are you kidding me? If you guys want to see rattlesnakes, I know somebody who's got about 20, 30 of them.
Don sends me pictures almost every day because he goes on walks at night and he's like, check this out. And it's like,
this is the
he's like this far away. He's like this far away from this thing. He's like, check this out. And it's like
perfect time to look for rattlesnakes here in Arizona. The barometric pressure is perfect because we've had rain. So it's perfect time to go herping here. It's amazing.
Very cool. Very cool. Miles wants you to compare your black springtails to Padura and let him know if the black ones are Padura.
Okay. I'll have to get in some macro shots of these guys to try to do some good comparison.
Just post them in IsoBuddies. If you just post them in IsoBuddies and ask.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I can definitely post them on there after I get some good macro shots because it's interesting. These guys don't spring. We'll real quick get on a quick tangent about that. The first time I saw them, somebody sent me a plant from California, and I thought it was thripe. I don't know how to pronounce that. THIRPS. And those things are like almost a death sentence for plants to a point. Like it's full panic mode.
Yeah, you've got quite a collection.
Yeah, and so I was like, and then I did more research, and no, apparently we just have different types of black springtails that don't really spring. So yeah, I will definitely do a comparison for sure. Like that would be, I didn't even think about that. I'm not gonna lie. Heck yeah.
Yeah, the springtails, if you can get those breeding, like springtails are huge right now.
Dude, these black ones are insane. Like I love them. They're, like I said, in my stores monitor, in the drier parts of my crested gecko enclosure. They definitely do well even in humid. Like I have them in my peacock gecko enclosure, and it is a decent 65-70% humidity, sometimes spikes of 80 here and there. And they're alive and kicking in there. And they're, like I said, they're cohabiting with different springtails. I haven't noticed them out competing each other yet. And it's
Awesome.
been 2.5, 3 years now that they've been in this enclosure.
That's really
I don't know how they got introduced in there. I have no idea. Just one day I'm looking and I'm like, these don't look like the ones I put in there. But yeah.
You got eggs on your finger going from one to another. What's a peacock gecko? We're going to do another episode on that apparently, because I want to know that too, Vic. I'm surprised you're not showing me pictures on Amazon or on Google right now, bud.
It's like it's a type of day gecko. I'll just say that so you can do some research on that.
Okay. That's what I was kind of picturing.
Yeah. It's like a smaller. It's a type of day gecko.
Okay.
Little bright green guy. Certain little blue markings that look like the little eyes of a peacock.
That sounds awesome. I love a day gecko. I think they're just so cool, and there's so many different ones now that it's crazy to me. They're kind of like I was telling my wife about them. She's like, "What are you looking at now? What are you not buying? What am I not allowing you to buy now?" And I was like, "Oh, day geckos. You know, they're like the birds of paradise of the lizard world. Like,
they're cool.
So cool.
They're cool. They have a really gnarly defense mechanism, but they're cool to look at.
Go on.
So they will. Oh my God! Somebody please research the exact term. But they essentially release their top layer of their skin to get away from predators. So if you grab them, they will literally detach the top layer of their skin, which is, it can kill them if they release too much of it. And so most cases you don't really handle day geckos. Some people do because they've created a bond. Like I can hand feed most of mine with my finger and only one of them will jump onto my hand, but they're so fast. I make sure that the door's closed. I put stuffing underneath the door frames. So in case they do get out, I at least have a controlled environment where they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're very fast. I don't really recommend handling them. But anyway, so yeah, type of day gecko. Sorry.
All right, no, we're good. We're good. This is the show. This is what we do.
This is.
You've been here. You've been on this show. You know what's up.
I know the dealio.
So now the biggest challenge for Tegus, besides having the proper space, is
fudge. Time. A lot of people ask me, hey, like, why don't you have more animals? Like, long story short, I came into possession of like 6 snakes in a really short period of time. Not what I planned to do. People were supposed to take a couple of them, and that didn't happen. And unfortunately, kind of seems like it's not going to happen right now. But so we're dealing with it. So anyway, they asked me why I don't have more reptiles. It's because diorite here not only takes the space, but takes the time of about 20 reptiles, in my opinion. That's why more power to people who have multiple tegus. When I take her out and I feed her and like her baths and just her roaming time overall throughout the day, your hours a day that are happening. It's rare, but sometimes she'll do a short trip while she'll eat, defecate, have her little quick roaming time within 30, 40 minutes. But those times I can count with one hand.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of time, a lot more time than I think most people can stress.
Well, and you can't really do roaming time with multiples, right? You couldn't have like 2 or 3 out in the same room.
It's not advised. Like, and if you do, you want to make sure you're like, you can't just not watch them. I know people who definitely have free roaming. They're not like all day free roaming, but they free roam multiples. But they're within arm's reach constantly, kind of like me when Di's near my cats. They know each other. I don't ever trust them. I do know that they wouldn't do anything to each other, but I'm always within like either my partner and I always have an eye on them, just to make sure. But she's kind of a bully. Like if she wants a sun patch that the cats are in, she gets the sun patch.
I mean, yeah.
She just bulldozes her way in and just plops. Like
And all the cats can say is like, I would eat your babies, but not you, but I would eat your babies.
Yeah, like they're just like, oh, okay, I guess we're gonna go to the other sun patch.
That's too funny.
So yeah, so time. I think time is a big one that a lot of people underestimate for sure. Time prepping for food, time with them overall, time training them. So yeah, for sure.
Awesome. That's awesome. Like I feel like I don't want to say this because I want everybody else to be on the same page as you, but I feel like you spend more time with your animals than you're well above the average. Like the
I
average
can
for
say
people's care is here, and you're like just off
I'm
screen.
privileged enough to do that. I being a disabled veteran, I am not working currently.
I
And
did not
so
know you're a veteran.
yeah, and
Thank you for your
so
service.
I haven't had a full-time job since October of 2020, I think is when, yeah, 2020 is when I had my car accident.
Okay.
So I haven't had a full-time job in almost 2 years. And so I'm definitely privileged enough to do that. And it's, I can honestly, yeah, I can't stress that enough. I'm just privileged enough to do that. Not many people can. And so I can't be like, oh, just be like me. Like, no, that means commit 4 years of your life, get broken, and then get disability. Like,
It's a long term plan, but it's solid. It's solid.
that's a long plan. Like, so no, so yes, you're absolutely correct. I definitely spend a good amount of time with my reptiles and, have a routine and a decent schedule in place to make sure that they're all taken care of. And,
I gotta get my wife into reptiles so she can take care of it. See, she's permanently disabled too, so and I always tease her. I'm like, the trade off is almost there. Like, there's things you can't do that you used to be able to do, but you don't have to work anymore, and you still make more than me. So I don't. The trade off, like, I would love to have that situation. Yeah, I don't work for a company that. Well, I don't work for anybody right now, but I don't work for a company that has that kind of a severance
that kind
package.
of luxury. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. But yes, I do spend a lot of time with her. Even when I was working full time, thankfully I kind of trained her to be like a morning Tegu. So from a very, very early age, from when I got her at about 2 months old, early in the morning, because I was a day shift bartender for a little while. And so my shift started at 11. And so what I would do is make sure that she was fed, did everything, before 10:30 in the morning, so that way I can go off to work. So like she's got an Instagram page I have not updated, but you can see there's like a little thing of stories of like daily routine. Literally every day I took her out by hand out of her enclosure. I put her in warm water for her to defecate, and then I rinsed her off and I fed her every day for a year. And then I did that every other day and then whenever she would come out, and I still do that now instead, but I don't carry her now. She's smart enough, or she knows where the bathroom is. I'm like, oh, come on, let's go. Let's go to the bathroom. She knows exactly where it is. She'll get in
right
there.
Where to go. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's her feeding
she knows
trail.
exactly where to go.
It's her feeding trail.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to check on mine.
Knows exactly where to go, and then once she's done, she knows that she can either go back to her room and then she'll swipe, or now that she has her ramp, I just kind of keep it there, and every once in a while she still misses, but for the most part she uses it pretty well.
I like that idea, the little shelf thing, so that she'll figure it out.
It works. They're smart. They're very food motivated. They will figure it out. Oh, this is how I get out so I can get food. Done. I got it.
I cannot get over. I feel like when I was a kid, nobody thought that reptiles were smart. Like, probably some people that kept them long term and knew, like hands on.
But not. I don't think we really knew to this degree how intelligent some of these guys are, and how we definitely don't give them credit. Like, she learned so quick. Like, I need to get back on her Instagram and start uploading more videos and stuff like that, and to educate people, because, like, for example, she was, I think, 6-7 months old, and I grabbed a really big, those little things you put under your bed, those like plastic containers to like store your shoes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're like real long.
Yeah.
So I used that to feed her her dubias and stuff because I didn't want them running around the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I put them in there, and then I placed her in there. The next day, I grabbed that bin and I put it on the floor. She immediately went inside of it as soon as I placed it down.
Then she probably looked at you like, what's the holdup?
It was a day. It was a day. She
That's
already
awesome.
registered. I get food in there.
That thing equals food.
Yeah. The amount of things this girl has.
I'm blown away. I'm blown away. Like watching, and it's not even just the higher ones. Like iguanas. Iguanas are on the same level as tegus. I think they're in the same like size and adaptability. Like they're willing to adapt to situations, but more in a vegetarian sense. But especially like the predatory or omnivore ones, I think omnivores are the smartest animals in general. But I think because they have to learn, like crocodilians and even some of the smaller ones are just far more intelligent than I ever thought they could be. And to see that is just so amazing. Like, I'm not going to say, like, I'm with you. I don't think they'll ever be tame. I don't think they'll ever have that. They have that reptile, that cat brain where they're never going to, unless they decide to. I think they're taming us, technically.
Are you kidding me? This girl's got me so trained, it's ridiculous. She swipes the door and I'm like, and just like, carry me. Like, no, yeah, she's got me trained for sure.
I need my corn dogs and my blue underwear and put on some Friends reruns and I'm good.
Don't forget my nice soft boiled egg yolk drizzled on top. Come on. Yeah. They're very intelligent. Drax even, my little stores monitor, very, very intelligent little guy. I've been developing a bond with him for quite some time. It's been a journey. But yeah, they're very intelligent. She shocks me constantly and is, too smart. She's too smart.
I feel like you have an opportunity to get 1 billion hits a month on videos of the Tegu if you just got a little creative with the videos. So I just came up with this. Bear with me. I'm going to put you on the map. Not myself. I don't know how to do that yet, but so you can they have wraps for like burritos or a wrap, just a wrap. It's made out of just egg white. Like it's literally just a flattened crepe.
Yeah, okay. Yes, white. I've seen them.
And you can make her burrito just fruit and veg or whatever and give that to her and watch her go nuts. Like a video of her tearing open a burrito would be one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
I have gotten pretty creative with certain things, so I feel like that is definitely feasible.
Yeah, or something like that.
Because I do, some people will do like a soft scramble, and I'll do soft boiled for the most part. If you ever do something like that, I would recommend doing it yourself. Don't use any butter on a skillet or anything like that. I wouldn't cook it all the way through. I would do it probably more so with like the egg yolk. I'd probably take the egg yolk and slightly cook it and create something that could be.
You're kind of. You could do stuff with raw egg with her, right? She eats raw egg.
Yeah, she'll eat raw. Like I give her whole quail egg, and then I'll do like soft boiled chicken egg, to just give her the yolk really. Every once in a while, I'll just straight up crack an egg, separate the yolk, and then just give her the yolk as like a little treat. I don't do it all the time, but she obviously super enjoys it. Definitely a lot of eggs. She does like eggs. Well, not a lot of eggs, but
yeah. Well, they have all those cool like alternate flours, and I know you cook, so I could see like a monthly video of some crazy ass meal that you made for her. That honestly, you could eat it too. You can make dinner for 2 or 3.
Most of them, the only difference would be I would cook mine.
Yeah. So, but I mean, you could eat a fruit wrap with an egg wrapper. Like who wouldn't do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Some cottage cheese in there.
Here's mine.
Yeah.
I definitely have quite a few videos of me feeding her when she was little. That was fun. That's what the one time I got bit by her. Was when I was hand feeding her when she was little, and I was giving her blueberries. the blueberry fell, and I went to go get it, and she went to get it at the same time and did a quick little, and she just kind of looked at me like, that wasn't a blueberry. I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed. Like,
That's cool. And
it
I
was
know
the
you can read that.
funniest. Like,
You can just read that on their face, like, oh,
oh
dude,
yeah, it was hilarious. Just kind of like that's not right. Okay, blueberry. Like,
right? It's just so funny. I think you need to do that. That would be a great. And you want to get the pervs watching it. If you want to get popular with the perv crowd, just put your foot in there. Just put your bare foot in the scene.
Why do you think I got so many views when I uploaded her videos before? It was before I got dressed and I was a bartender. Like, or like before I went to work, so I was dressed as like what I was wearing that day. So yeah, I mean, you only saw usually from like here down, but
still, there's feet. All you need is feet.
It's even better, right? It's like, who needs a face? Like,
yeah, you don't even need to put your face or your name, just your feet. Dudes are so gross. Dudes are the grossest thing on the planet.
Yeah. Okay. So are reptiles sometimes. So it's okay, and we love those. So it's all right.
That's true. They're gross in a natural way, though. They're gross in a natural way.
Yeah, no. But yeah, so these guys are a trip. They're a lot of fun. Definitely underestimated thing would be time, space. For sure. They're not puppies. I don't think that's a great comparison. If you want to put it more towards a mammal, I would definitely say more of a cat. For sure. She lets me know when she doesn't want me around, or when. That's why there are times I don't see her for a couple of days, because she's just like, meh, I don't want to deal with you. So, and
stays in her hide or whatever.
Yeah, she just stays in her hide. Which I'll be improving here in a little bit now that I got a deal going with somebody who's got a saw that I need.
Cool. Do you consider ever getting her into a breeding program? Like, but you don't really know what she is yet.
So.
Are we gonna get some inside scoop right now?
Yes. There has been discussion. There's somebody who has a very handsome Chicoan male, who is ginormous and very, very, very docile.
Okay.
And also very sweet. So we're wondering if temperament can be bred. Because it can be in mammals. So I'm curious if temperament can be bred in reptiles. I'm almost willing to sacrifice her for that. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of stories of females not quite being the same after breeding. It can be kind of a traumatic experience. Being bred, it can seem a little vicious. Males can bite down pretty hard. They can scar pretty well.
Yeah.
So sometimes even if they're very receptive, the males can be still very aggressive with the bites and things like that. And that's some of the reason why people believe that females will get a little aggressive after they've been bred. Some people believe it's because almost a maternal type.
Yeah, all of those hormones kick in.
Kind of goes in. It's a lot of, regardless, the fact that it can happen is a little bit of a scary thought, to think that I won't have like my sweet girl anymore.
Yeah, you'd like ruin her, like.
Yeah, to a degree, honestly. So it's kind of like, do I want to take that chance and try to prove a hypothesis or something like that, or it's like science or love kind of thing. And granted, even if temperament is something that you can breed, it's going to take so many generations to try to prove that. We're talking 20, 30 generations in order to try to see if it is true. So I have no idea. I don't know.
Well, it took 8. It took 8 with those foxes in Russia. So
was it 8? I thought it was 15. Was it 8?
I read it was 8. So
was it 8? Okay, then thank you so much for correcting me, because for some reason I thought it was higher. So thank you very much for correcting me.
I might be wrong.
Why I went even higher. Okay, so, but in case I went a little bit higher because they're reptiles,
Okay.
and their brains are a little bit different, in certain aspects. But so yeah, so it is something that I've definitely talked about. The gentleman is more than willing to stud out his male. Obviously, I would have to just coordinate with him because he does actually breed tegus, and I don't want to overbreed his male either.
Yeah, that's a lot to consider though. If she's gonna like, if it's a possibility that she's not gonna come out of it the same, I would be really
Exactly. Yeah,
reluctant.
it's hard, because she is my baby. She is,
Yeah.
and not to say that people who breed they don't feel that way, but to have that chance to
I
where
mean, you've
she's
had her. You said 4 years
currently,
now, right? You've had her four
yeah,
years,
I've had her since she was 2 months old.
and to have that relationship, and then that's the same as a puppy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
They are like puppies. You're a liar, Nat.
Right.
I keep wanting to call you Tegu, and I can't. Um, I was trying to look for your videos, and it was under Dionysus Tegu and not you. And you had just sent me messages about running late. So I was like, where are these videos? Where the hell? And I've only got like 10 messages from your account. They're all from Dionysus Tegu.
Yeah.
So you've had her for 4 years. I think that would be, to me, that would be traumatic to have that relationship change on a fundamental level, or have to
Yeah.
kind of almost start over.
Yeah, I feel like it. I feel like it would. I feel like it would be kind of similar to my stores monitor.
Okay.
I have no idea what his background is. But people thought he was a stores or an Aki. And that's all I know, that they thought he was an Aki, and clearly he wasn't. Not clearly, because he does kind of look like a dwarf version of it. But anyway, no idea what his background was. I try to create, a bond. Food, me, I'm the supplier of food. You can trust me. Things were going great. He was walking up on my hand, and then there was an incident where he prolapsed, so I had to snag him and throw him into some sugar water and stuff and get him checked out. And so I had to restart my bond with him. And so now we're back to, we got to a really good point again. But with her, that's what I feel like would happen. I feel like it'd be almost like a reset button.
Yeah.
And not one that I don't think one that I want to face.
Well, I mean, now you're restarting with a 10-pound Tegu who's like a problem, and
exactly
not a 2-month Tegu that's like,
that's
she bit me. Oh, that kind of sucks, but whatever. And this one's like, oh, she bit me. I can learn to walk again. Like,
so
they're doing a lot with prosthetics now.
Yeah, so she's a big girl. So I've definitely thought about it. Do I think I'm gonna do it? Probably not. However, now the idea is out there, and I've let other people know my intention of kind of like what I want to do. Will I do it? I don't know. Maybe at a point I will, because these guys can breed for quite a while, from my understanding. So, who knows? I can't say I shut the door to it immediately. You never know. Science may come more into play.
It sounds super worth it, but on the other hand, like, you've got the female, it kind of doesn't. Like, it's hard. A catch-22. Yeah, because I know you're a science brain too, but you're kind of a sap too. So it's like,
yeah, exactly.
That's that inner turmoil.
Are you kidding me? When I saw her tail, I cried, like ugly cried. It was horrific. Like, it was not a pretty sight. And so yeah, definitely. And then to be like, where's my baby? Yeah, are you kidding me? It'd be
now you need tongs, and you need to like wear waders when you're feeding her.
it would definitely be an experience for sure. That like I said, I don't know if I'm willing to sacrifice yet. So, but just know that that idea is there. Who knows? And because she's so big, it's just crazy. Like, it baffles my mind how large of a female she is, and she's been confirmed female by multiple people, and multiple breeders. And to include Jesse from Jesse's Jungle, he was the one who originally had sexed her when she was about 9 months, I believe. Okay. When she was about 9 months old.
That's pretty excellent. And then what's the lifespan Like in closing, I guess, what's the lifespan like on these guys?
The captivity right now,
Yeah.
it's recorded about 20 plus years.
Very cool.
Is what you're looking at. You're looking at, give or take, about 20 years. I want to say somebody claimed that theirs is in their 30s. I feel like there was a guy who had claimed that they've got a big old massive male that's like 30 right now. So who knows?
He'd be
But I
like one of
know.
the first guys to have a Tegu in America.
Oh, right. But I just know the average is about 20 years. You're looking at
Okay.
for a Chicoan or for a blue or red, something like that.
Something well taken care of too. Like not.
Yeah. Diverse diet, things like that. Exercise is huge. If I'm not mistaken, one of the leading cause of death of captive tegus is fatty liver disease.
Okay.
Sometimes we love our tegus too much.
A lot of pets.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, you're absolutely correct. We tend to love too much sometimes, and then we're like, oh, but they love it, and it's like, but just because.
Yeah, they don't love dying 10 years
No,
early. So
I love cheesecake. I'm not gonna eat it every single day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, only because I know I probably shouldn't. And
that's how you get this.
Like,
That's how you get this, Nat.
I just don't want to be in pain from all the sugar.
When are you due? I'm due to have more cheesecake in about a half an hour, if that's what you mean, babe.
There you go. There you go. But so it healthy Tegu, you're looking at about 20 years. That's why I make the joke all the time. People are like, Nat, why can't you have any normal pets? And I'm like, they die too fast.
They do. It's sad. Like cats live forever, but like I want a dog again, and it's like, then I have to like brace myself the whole time for this tragic event that's going to happen 15 years from now.
Happen, yeah.
Like haven't been a vet tech and been like sitting ringside for like I can't even tell you how many euthanasias. Oh my god.
I'm sure it gets brutal.
It was rough, but I don't know. Like you'd have to do that in the case of an elderly deteriorating reptile, right? Like when do you make that call?
Oh yeah. I unfortunately know of a few people who've had to put down their Tegu or a larger monitor for a plethora of reasons, whatever it may be. And yeah, I mean, it's eventually you will get to that point. Sometimes it's a complication that's genetic. Sometimes it's something that technically you could have avoided, but maybe you just weren't educated on it. Accidents happen. So, I mean, shoot, she's broken out too many times. Like,
we found our foot guy. Victor.
Oh my god, did you see my sparkly boots? Please tell me those were the sparkly ones.
There you go.
Bam.
There you go.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I thought I had a creeper on Di's Instagram because I do wear sparkly boots in that. So if you want some really nice shoes, Di's Instagram's got some nice ones.
I think you know where to go. We'll post the link in the description for you, Vic.
We got you.
Vic, don't leave my show. I need you around. I didn't mean to foot shame anyone. I didn't.
Dude, never.
If that's your kink, bro, live it.
Hell yeah, live it, man. Freaking live it. Like, oh, I love it.
We had a whole episode about kinky ant sex, and it was the funniest thing ever. How are the flesh-eating isopods? They're around. I've caught about 60, I think. Sorry, I don't know if you heard. In front of me, I built this little studio here, right? So in front of me is my mic and camera, and it's on 2 wooden crates. It was on 1 wooden crate that was on top of a 10-gallon tank that had snails and crap, I can't think of it. Giant canyons. I can't think of their name, but Dilatatus.
Dilatatus or Dialatus?
I think it's Dilatatus. I don't know.
You're right. I feel like you're right.
Giant canyons. So I went to get up, and I went to reach to get my drink, knocked over like a liter of water onto the concrete floor here. So I went to get up and push this chair back, which this chair is awesome, but it's on casters, and they're not like super rolly, so they're stable, but it's hard to push back sometimes. Well, the floor was like ice, so I fell, and my foot went straight through the 10-gallon tank, so it got shredded. So then I got my foot out, and I went to get up again. I pushed the chair back and went to get up, and turned and slipped again, and my other foot went under my ant tank, which is right here on this little table. It's such a mess here. Under this table, and I sprained my ankle. So yeah, I had to crawl upstairs with a towel taped around my ankle. I had blood everywhere. There was blood all over this whole basement, and yeah, and it had already bled through by the time I got up there. So, because I was crawling to get upstairs, crawling through my basement, crawling up the stairs, crawling through the kitchen. It's like 10:30 at night. Wake up my wife. Hey, I said, you got to stay here with Faith. I'm going to call my mom and get her to take me to the ER. She's like, what the hell? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh my God, you're bleeding everywhere. yeah, I am. It's 27 stitches.
So blood everywhere for what? Wait, something
What's
about. I'm like, okay, so you bled everywhere. You put your foot through the enclosure.
Through a 10-gallon tank, yeah. And then I turned, sprained my other ankle. I sprained my opposite ankle.
Under the other one, all because of isopods? Wait, what?
I was getting up after the show, after filming an episode.
Oh my God, okay, there's the connection. I'm like, where's the connection to the isopods? Okay.
I was getting up. I don't ever sit in this chair in this position. It's always up against the wall here.
Gotcha,
so I can watch my collection. It's usually
oh my God, yeah, makes sense.
Right here. Whoop. It's usually right here. So I can watch my collection and my fish and whatever. But yeah, so they keep checking up on me or making fun of me for falling down. Porcellio dilatatus. There we go. I was right.
Perfect. Okay.
But now I had probably, I don't even know how many I had in that tank. It's pretty well sealed with a little bit of ventilation, and they like it super dry, so I never go in there. And like I check on them once a month. When I notice there's no leaves, I just literally almost fill the tank with leaves, and then I just leave them alone. I don't touch them. So I don't know how many were in there, but there's only, I didn't save any. I just threw the whole thing out.
Yeah.
But there's easily hundreds in the basement because I didn't come down here for 3 days afterwards. So I couldn't come down the stairs. Like I couldn't walk. So like I just didn't come down here. The doctor was like, I don't even know what to do with you. I don't know how to give you crutches. I don't know about this scooter thing. I don't know what to do.
Like, how do you even deal with that? Like, that's just...
I told him, I said, just give me the boot.
That's why I have to be careful if I get handicapped like that to try to deal with her. I mean, thankfully I have a partner that can deal with her, but I'd rather not have to put that responsibility on them.
Yeah, it wasn't their choice, you know.
So, exactly. Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, I chose to have all these reptiles, you know, they put up with it and they deal with it, but it wasn't them who were just like, I want a freaking room full of reptiles, you know. So my
wife, everything would die. If I couldn't take care of everything down here, it would all just die because my wife would be like, I don't give a shit. She does not care about anything down here at all. Kind of cares about the nudes.
Thankfully he does. Thankfully they do. They definitely do. Even the reptiles that they don't like they're not fond of snakes. Super you know, and I can kind of understand, you know, different monitors and different lizards are a little bit more fascinating reptile than snakes to some. So I can understand that, but even like I have a Brooks Florida king snake, and I swear he only likes my partner. He does not come out when I'm in the room, but Mofo comes in and freaking Snaky snakes out, and I'm like, Dozer, what the French toast? You don't even come out when I come to feed you, but he walks in the room and hi.
Some people have those weird connections with animals. Like
it's now he makes fun of me. He's like, I'm his favorite. So I'm like, whatever. Okay, fine.
I've had it my whole life. I've had weird connections with animals. So I totally understand. Like there was a point where I was working at the zoo at Brookfield Zoo here in like food service. And I was like 20 years old, 18 years old. And every day I would show up early to hang out because you get to go before the zoo even opened. I'd go right to
too easy. So you created a bond with some of those animals.
Yeah. So
quickly.
I would go right to the pinnipeds, right? So the underwater viewing of the walrus. And we would play. Like he would slap the glass where I slapped the glass, and there was these little wooden pillars, and he would put his head behind there and his big fat ass body outside, and then he'd peek out, and he'd see I could see him, and he'd put his head right back, and then he would do that for like a half an hour. So I was late to work all the time. So the one day, I just went up there. I was off, and I went up there, and the walrus saw me. I went up to the top, and I clapped, and he looked, and he went right down to the bottom. So I went down there, and we played. And one of the keepers came down. There's all these people there watching. The keeper came down like, "What is happening down here?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just playing." She's like, "What?" So I was like, "Yeah, I work here, and I just come here every day and I play with him." Yeah, she's like, "Well, we're trying to feed him. Could you stop?" So, like, he's down there with me instead of eating. It was awesome. So I got to feed him. I got to feed a walrus, like
Nice.
hand to hand, hand to face.
That's awesome.
They have the worst breath in the animal kingdom. I'll tell you that
sure.
right now.
I mean, I couldn't even begin to all that seafood that they're consuming. So no, I'm good.
So,
I'm good. It's like when people like ask me the stupid question, does her poop smell? I don't know. She's an omnivore. She eats fruits, veggies, and raw meat. Does your dog's poop smell? Because they're also an omnivore. It's yes, it does.
If a tortoise's poop smells the way it does, an omnivore or a carnivore poop is 100 times worse.
It's gnarly. It is something from it's otherworldly for sure. It's yeah, and at her size, it's legitimately like the size of a dog. Like it is, you would have thought a dog pooped. Like it is intense. I mean, it's solid logs, but they are some big logs.
That's awesome. That's awesome. At least they're solid. At least they're solid.
They are. That's how you know that's how you know your mixture of food is right.
Right. Oh,
For the most part, that's how you know you're good.
Yeah, you don't want the juicy ones. That would be bad. Have to change out the whole cage. Felt bad for the kids. They got bad genes as far as coordination. Yeah, my poor daughter. She's gonna have a lot of scars.
Yeah, it's okay. It's we call them battle wounds. Why do you think I'm constantly wearing pants? Like, are you kidding me? Like the amount of scars I can compare to people, it's kind of shameful, almost shameful.
All you have to say is like, "Oh, I was a vet. I'm a vet."
So, are you kidding me? Like, where'd you deploy to? I'm like, I didn't. I didn't. I did not. No.
Saddam Hussein's bunker. I was there on the cover.
This is all done right here. Right here.
No more rollerblades for you.
No. Are you kidding me? No, not at all.
Is that still a thing? Do people still rollerblade?
Oh yeah. Skates,
they don't do it around here.
They do skates more. I think a lot of people do like the roller skates, like the little two.
I got you.
Yeah, they do those a lot. But yeah, anyhow,
awesome.
I can't go. Yeah, I can't wait to go outside again and take her out there. I think we talked about this. Tegus can see UV rays. And so we looked.
They can see them.
Like they can see UV, like the spectrum of light.
I don't think we talked about that. I don't remember talking about that. That's awesome.
Maybe it was in one of the talks like many moons ago that we all had one time. Okay. But yeah, so tegus can see UV. Okay. And some animals have this ability is how certain insects and birds can find, or certain insects can find flowers and stuff and certain different types of flowers. Okay. So yeah, so she can see UV, and so I look completely different to her outside than I do in the house, whereas glass filters out 100% of UV. Screens filter about 50% of the sun's UV rays. So when we're outside, I look like a completely different being to her. Training her to go outside, I did it as a young age. And yeah, she definitely reacted quite aggressively at first, like had no idea who the French toast I was. So it took her some time. And then while I was living in my apartment, they changed the policy for exotic animals. And so I could no longer take her outside. So I had to just adapt and not take her outside. Now I purchased a home with my partner and I can take her outside again. So it's reintroducing her to that UV all over again now while she's 8-9 pounds is just It's going to be kind of daunting. I always recommend people to have, like, if you have a screen of any type, like if you have like a sliding glass door and you have the screen, to do that first, like allow that. But I don't
Yeah.
have a screen on my door. So instead what I'm going to do is put her in a giant dog carrier.
Okay.
Like the giant kennels that you fit like Labradors in.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put her in one of those outside because it's got a decent amount of holes in it. And that front grate, I'm gonna put some window screening.
Okay.
So that way it filters some of the light. So I'll introduce her that way while she has a harness on and whatnot.
Okay. That's smart.
So yeah, but it's nice and toasty and whatnot here in Arizona. So I want to be able to take her outside.
That's wild. That's why I never even considered like you would look like a different creature outside. She would be like, wait, what?
With UV, yeah, we look completely different. It's pretty cool and bizarre, but
You can get a $30 UV lamp as well that I have.
Definitely not enough.
Just be like, hey, it's me. It's me. Look, it's me.
So I'm gonna be reintroducing her to outside, so I'm super pumped about it.
Okay.
I know that was super random, but for some reason I just thought about that.
That's a super cool thing. Like there's not a lot of animals, I don't think. Like you were saying, I know bees. I know a lot of bees.
Certain insects, certain butterflies, they've stated can see UV because there's like a particular butterfly that only goes to a certain flower, and they're equating it because it looks a different way in UV. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool. It's it's for sure. And their eyesight is ridiculous. Like when she was little and I did take her outside, there'd be planes or a bird or something. I'm talking, I didn't even notice it, and she'd be looking up, and all of a sudden I look and there's a flipping plane, and I'm like, did you really notice that plane? Like how? But
well, that's got to be one of their main predators, right? Is some kind of
it is, especially at her size. Yeah, she absolutely would have been taken by a predatory bird, in South America for sure. Like,
unreal.
Yeah, their eyesight is definitely a spectacle to behold, if you will. Because it astonishes me the things that she'll see and the movement that she notices that I don't. So it's always a learning process and stuff, and
it's a whole different perspective. Yeah. Her perspective to yours is so different.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh yeah. There's like I said, there's certain actions and stuff that she'll do, and I'm like, what are you looking at? And I'm trying to get to her level. Like I'm like, what's freaking you out? Why are you frozen?
Then you get down and she's like, why are you down here? I
really do, yeah. She just kind of looks at me like, what are you doing here?
She's like, Nat, are you seeing this shit? Are you seeing this shit right here?
Do you see that over there? Yeah. Oh yeah. Sometimes I notice her looking at the geckos or at Drax and stuff like that, and because other than two animals, she can definitely eat every animal in here other than two.
The other two would know they were in a fight too, so.
Yeah. One of them she could definitely hurt the other two really well. That's for sure. Yeah.
Enough that neither of them would get eaten. Like that's.
Like I think she would try to eat one of them for sure though, but probably wouldn't be able to really take it down.
Give it her best shot.
I feel like she would try. I feel like she'd try.
I didn't kill it, but I'm full. I'm weirdly satisfied.
Yeah.
I got a good piece. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on. I know I never know how to end these things because we just are having a good conversation.
We just end up kind of going off on a tangent. It happens.
Yep, and then we're done. We were still kind of talking about Tegus. I'm excited. Hey. Like, what else was she in that room?
Right, yeah. No, honestly, we could do a tour one day for sure. I have oh, hi. Speaking of which, hi, Darwin.
Who's up there in that giant tank?
That is a albino Chinese beauty snake.
I don't even know what that is. I'm gonna check that out.
It's a species of rat snake. It's a type of colubrid snake.
Okay.
It's a type of rat snake. It's a beauty snake. They're local to Asia. I have a Taiwanese beauty snake and then a Chinese beauty snake. The Chinese beauty snake is a male, I believe, T positive albino.
Okay.
And that just means he doesn't have red eyes. Not just mean, but that's one of the traits is that he doesn't have red eyes. He has blue eyes.
Okay.
But yeah, he's in that big boy right there.
That sounds like a beautiful snake. Blue eyes. Well, we'll have to come back on and talk about more stuff another time. So, because I like to recycle guests, I like to have them back. So, thank you so much for coming on. I think next week we're doing our first of a commercial series.
Hey.
So I'm glad you're not selling anything anymore. Yeah, right? I'm going to try to feature, yeah, I think it's the 15th. So, or sorry, the 14th. So, yeah, we're going to talk to Josh Ferris about his dart frog business. Yeah,
yeah,
he's a decent guy.
I know. Yeah, well, I know of Ferris. Yeah, that's awesome.
Everybody seems to know him. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize he was a big deal.
Yeah, no, he pops
so
up.
I knew he was around. Yeah, he's a guy.
Combo.
So then next Tuesday we're off unless somebody else wants to book an episode. I'm talking to a bunch of people, but so next Thursday we'll be here talking to Josh Ferris about his business specifically. And I want to do more spots like that. So if you have a business and you want to come on, reach out. Or watch Thursday and see how it goes, and maybe you'll be interested then. But yeah, we want to definitely talk about people's businesses and focus on this. There's so many small business owners in this community.
For sure.
And then the Tuesday after that, we're talking to Sarah. I can never remember her last name, so I'm not going to try. But she breeds dart frogs as well. We're going to talk to her about just dart frogs.
Nice.
So yeah, and that'll be awesome. We'll have some videos to show there too. So yeah, it's exciting couple weeks. And then after that is something else. I never remember what the heck I have planned. So, but thanks for coming on, Nat. This was great. And
always.
Yeah, definitely a friend of the channel for sure. 100%. Always welcome. So keep me posted on the breeding if you decide to do it.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a discussion that'll keep popping up for sure.
Good. Guys, yeah, listen to Victor. If you haven't liked it. If you haven't subscribed for future quality videos where we talk about fetishes for no reason. They'll get you views. They'll get you views, and it's just a foot. I'm just saying. If I could make money off my bare feet, I would.
Right.
But yeah, do the videos with him eating a burrito or her eating a egg burrito. I think that.
I'll definitely have to try to concoct something. I feel like
that'd be so fun to watch. The whole thing, just every bite. I would watch the whole thing. But guys, yeah, like, subscribe. Special thanks to all my Patreons, my 5 wonderful Patreons. You guys, it blows me away that someone give me money to do this. But I love it. I appreciate it. I get it. I give Patreon money out too. So have a great day, everybody, and all the Juglones. Happy Independence Day if you haven't had it already. All right. Thanks so much, Nat.